AI is here to stay. Now the question is, are we ready to lead it? Hello and welcome to another season, Season 7 of Women Talk. I'm Anita Woo and I'm very excited to talk about artificial intelligence. Some are afraid of it, some have already embraced how embedded it is in our lives already. The question here today is not only is it shaping the way we live, work and navigate our lives, but as women, is AI unlocking new opportunities for us? Or is it reinforcing old beliefs and old systems? Today, we are very lucky to have these two wonderful guests who are pushing for a digital revolution. Incredible women, Callie Yao, the founder of Peopleology. Welcome to the show. As well as Sharala Axred, who is founder of CADS AI, a woman who went from Bukit Mertajam all the way to leading one of the most innovative AI platforms in Asia.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show, both of you. What about our everyday lives? How has it, and how you've seen personally, as well as in the workforce, how have you seen it change as women, the way we work, live, lead, as leaders yourself in this space?
I always like this question because for the past few years, we have been talking a lot with our friends, you know, when every time we go for tea, and we always ask, hey, will AI replace you?
Our jobs.
Yeah. So, and when we come to this question, there's always a yes and no. Yeah, because yes, if you know how to write on it, if you know how to leverage it. No, if you are still afraid of it will be replacing you. Yeah, so that's actually what we see here. Because from a lot of statistics, such as one very popular one we hear of World Economic Forum, we see that 69 million of new jobs will be created, and that's fearful. And people will be thinking that, oh, basic accountant is no longer valid.
69 million jobs created or?
Curated, will be curated.
Okay, curated.
Yeah, because of AI coming in.
Yeah.
And when we have this statement, how do we still say that AI will replace us? So it's just a matter of whether we know how to use them and we know how it can actually accelerate our work.
Okay, so what about you, Sharala, on this topic, right? You've been at the heart of AI innovation in Malaysia. Would you say where we are, now the world is in different paces in how much they're embracing it. Malaysia, we would like to embrace it more. Would you say Malaysia is optimizing the embrace of AI at the moment?
Well, I think we are at the tipping point. I think there's a lot of awareness. We're building framework. You know, we have a national AI office.
That's right. Newly launched.
And we're very good at writing policies and waiting and seeing, right?
Yeah.
So there's a long way between having this awareness and actually having a strategy to execute it. So I think, you know, knowing today what we know and what we knew before, to be able to embrace AI is really having the skills in every role. That goes back to your question to Kelly earlier, right? Will AI replace you? Well, another woman with AI knowledge will replace the job of this woman who has no, right?
Yeah, or a man, I mean, in that case, right? Anyone who is empowered, From what you've seen, what about the corporate sector or companies here? Have you seen them adopting AI in impactful ways? Are they optimizing it?
Well, they all have started, right? They're treating, and I'm probably get shot for saying this, we're treating this as an IT project, right? It's siloed, it's centralized, then we'll think like we will roll it out. Because everybody is afraid of this hallucination, will my data, you know, get leaked out? But I think we are beyond that, right? So the only true impact a company is going to see it is not centralizing it and building a white elephant where nobody else in the office or in the
organization.
Yes. So unless you have a structure that has AI in every role, you're not going to optimize that impact.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now,
so I'm going to go out and say
we're talking next level here, yeah? AI in every role.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's integrated into the system of the company.
Please tell me you used AI before you came here to prepare this question.
It's functional.
It's functional. Okay. We talk about how, in practical ways, you have stepped really boldly into the space of AI. You know, how was this journey for you? I mean, where a lot of your friends probably turn to you, female friends, turn to you to ask you, hey, what's happening?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We took maybe a week to 2 weeks to do a proposal last time. And today you can just, at your fingertip, everything is just, you ask the right question, people say you prompt it right, and you get it the next second. And why do you, it's not that we are not using our brain, it's not that we are not learning, but we are learning faster, smarter. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've received some, and it's so funny, right? Because you know how someone is actually using AI in their lives right now because they're typing, at least, in a very different way.
Yeah.
You know, you get messages or emails that are far more polished.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you definitely used AI for that.
Yeah. I mean, the challenge, like I was in a university yesterday, one of the top universities, and we were talking to the professors in AI.
Yeah.
And we were questioning whether would you allow them to use them in schools, right?
Academic
academic.
sector.
And they say, yeah, we do, but we ask them to declare. And I go like, you Google something and do you start declaring? That's where it's going to get to, right? Why not we embrace this and use it correctly than trying to make it like it's almost sinful plagiarism to use it, right? Yeah.
I think that's also, it's going to affect, I mean, it's already affecting so many fields, right? And so in terms of plagiarism and schools, we have to find a way to pivot very quickly.
Yes.
I do believe,
So use ChatGPT or Gemini in school to write essays.
Absolutely.
Right? And then try to see how you can do the essay better without the equipment, right?
Yes.
That's how we should start doing. I'm very sure my son is using secretly ChatGPT to do his school homework.
Yeah, as you said, we're learning from it. And as long as we actively learn from it and not passively use it, thank you for that thought. I'll hold that thought. We're coming back with more wonderful things to discuss on this topic of AI. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Women Talk on this wonderful episode on artificial intelligence, AI. Now, we've been talking about how AI and digital tools have already started reforming our lives and reshaping our world, individually and globally. But here's the thing. They're not here to replace women's contributions, is what our message is today. In fact, our guests here are here to, as an example as well, living example, that it's here to actually amplify our skills. Can you tell us more about how practical ways, perhaps Kelly, we can start with you, practical ways in how women can overcome this insecurity?
Look, in our daily life, we take food and beverages as example. Yeah, you can see there are tons of F&B brand out there, and yet, how did women or men actually create a creative platform for themselves? And we can see that there's so many online selling these days.
And beverages? F&B?
F&B,
okay.
Yeah. They can actually do their food packaging at home, and then they actually go through a similar supply chain and hola to the industry. Yeah, so similarly for my own industry, we used to be actually doing a lot, we call it, we train people, and yet training is no longer there as if we just train. So we have to ensure a seamless user experience. Therefore, be it in the F&B industry, in the training industry, or in any sort of industry, right, you just need to infuse AI. Like earlier you said, when people are fearful to actually enter to it, and how do we want to overcome is by starting small, is by seeing what is the opportunity that can help my business to grow.
Yeah. I mean, because you cover a few industries with Peopleology, right? It's people and technology, from my understanding. So can you tell us how some examples, good examples of certain industries where they've been able to incrementally include AI, integrate AI into the operations, some fine examples? All right.
We take advertising as an example, or in fact event management company as an example. Today, when you run event, and if you do it very traditional way without any tools, without any digital support, and your event will not look as fancy or as good that people want it to be, because everything that we want to experience is another level. You no longer you go to a cinema, you just want a popcorn, you want hot pots, and you want so many different other things. It's the same thing as how digital can complement our business. So if I were to take one, I would pick event management as an example, because there are plenty of tools out there that could actually enhance them further. I'm not going to sell you any tools because I'm not, but I just want to pick one example.
Okay. And Sharala, can we talk about how you feel very passionately about women, especially empowering themselves, right? Coursera, the course platform, reported about a 459% increase in enrollments last year, showcasing their commitments, women especially, to staying ahead in the digital age. The data also reveals, though, that only 46% of the learners in Malaysia represent only 33% of the Gen AI enrollments, right? So this mirrors global trends. It's not just a Malaysia-Asia thing, where women globally account for just 32% of the participants. So what do you think structurally or within our system needs to change for us to kind of get ahead, whether it's in the education sector or attitudes in a corporate culture, to encourage specifically more women to bridge that gap?
Right. Okay. So that's a nice question, right? That 30% is what you're looking at, but it's the 70% that I'm worried about. Okay. So we see women in FSIs, right? In insurance company, in banks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, like bank tellers to insurance, clerical. Women are the ones who are going to be really hurt with this change in technology that we're using.
Yes.
So I think in every sense, women need to understand. So people generally learn because only for two things, right? If they need to do their job or they've got a new job to do. That's the only, then everything else, they become overwhelmed. And then I would say it's not resistance, it's ignorance that gets to them.
Yeah.
So if you can get them, like, have we do this data-driven maturity assessment over and over again. People do not understand how their role is going to evolve and where they can move into. So if you can have that guided learning path.
Like a roadmap.
Yes. And then, they get overwhelmed. Where do I begin? How do I start?
Yeah.
And that's what happens with the Coursera's of the world, right? Thousands of learning out there. YouTube has thousands of learning out there. So where do I start? Where do I begin? That's one thing for women in career. But let's look at generally, you talked about school. Now we talk about AI transformation. It's not a 3-year journey where every transformation we talk about, right?
Yes.
This is going to be lifelong. Our kids, right? They're learning the job that they're going to have in the future. I cannot guarantee or even encourage my kids to look forward, but just prepare them now.
Yeah.
Correct?
From where we are, because we don't even know how AI will continue to evolve.
Exactly. So all we could do is make sure in schools AI and data fluency, I call it literacy program, need to be rolled out.
On that note, we're taking a quick break. See you after the break. Welcome back to Women Talk Season 7, and today's episode is on artificial intelligence. We're with two wonderful guests here who are spearheading their roles in the digital space in Malaysia, especially in terms of AI. We were talking about tech and data earlier, but I think on a very personal level, we'd like to find out about your journey as a woman. I mean, as we now know, you're from Bukit Mertajam, you've lived there, you went to high school there.
Yes.
How did you start from there, which is not really big capital kind of energy, into the forefront of AI?
Oh gosh.
In the region.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So came from a small town, right? A typical Indian family. So when I did tell my mom, she'll deny that. When I wanted to do engineering, her reflection was, "Oh no, who will marry you?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes. So I'm an accidental entrepreneur. So we come from a family of academic, steady job, get the salary and be fine with that. So this was like, I wish I could give you a grand theft plan I had in mind, but I always didn't drive on certainty, but a lot on conviction.
Wow.
I wasn't sure, we had the path for it, but was the purpose. So if you know that Bukit Mertajam to a local university, then I left the country.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're from Penang, you've heard the term called Pimai Tang Tu.
Yes.
So people like me would never leave, but I left. And the whole purpose driven is why do Malaysia graduates, we have this story about we are not employable, but we have the highest brain drain in ASEAN. Okay, so when I came back was so important. The reason I left is an economy of opportunity for an individual.
Absolutely.
How do we create that? That comes from skills, right? The higher the data, the AI skills. And we're talking about 2013, 2015. A lot of people thought I was smoking pot when I was talking about that.
That's on the forefront. You're really at the cusp of it.
Because we could see every industry needed it. And I have a telco background, right? So I realized that if we have these skills in this country, then I could build a successful business here, and I don't have to move countries to get talent. so it was all selfish.
Yeah, but I mean, great. I mean, we also have to, Malaysian economy is benefiting.
Yeah. So it was always, and let's be honest, right? When I'm at a table, I'm always either the only woman or the only Malaysian.
I'm sure Kelly can relate to that.
Yeah, and the difference, what became the strength. Right? So what you bring to the table is not just knowledge, but I wanted to build a tech company that's all about human first.
Human-driven AI.
Yes.
Essentially.
Because it's not about the technology, right? It's not about replacing, a talent. It's never about replacing the talent. It's always about augmenting and replacing the task. And that's why I think we get all confused about, we're going to replace the person. No, it's the role that's going to go away.
Yeah.
Right? But the skill is more valuable for all of us if we embrace it sooner than later.
Thank you. Thank you for the reminder and for driving the message home, because I think we're too stuck in fear sometimes. So on that note, Kelly, I mean, you've spent a lot of time as well helping women skill up for the future, being AI ready, so to speak. And what has your role been in this digital transformation era? There seems to be a lot of rah-rah about it, but for you in this space, what are very practical things that you see that is beneficial? And I mean, as in, like, how are you encouraging women to get into it?
Okay. Now, today's topic, women and AI. So, and I want you to picture this. If these are women, and we sit down here at our work desk or any place that we are actually talking on productivity, imagine that is also a robot in front of you, and they are your colleague, they are your friend. Yeah, that is where we talk about the future. However, the future is now, right? So we have to start embrace that how we can live with the digital transformation, and where about to actually start, it is how you need to find a suitable solution that matches what you are currently doing. If you are a business owner, if you are actually in the workforce, so what are the things that can help you to take a leap on your career? So if you are now still a customer service, how do you be a digital customer service? And that is, every profession actually has the AI element that it has infused in. And for us here, who we are actually in the industry, we encourage people, we encourage women to actually look into areas that they find they can be useful and relevant for the future.
A lot of people are not even thinking about whether it's relevant to them.
Okay.
There are a lot of people, data and AI, this is more for the techies.
Yes.
So when I had a journey that I being awarded as a Women in Tech last year, this has opened up my mind, because I totally agree with you. If I were the 5 years ago me, I think the same, as in AI is not a thing for me, tech is not even a thing for me. However, where did I come into this juncture is because we have to believing it in seeing it. Something that has not happened, but you have to believe it, because now in South Korea, we have CEO that has been already replaced by AI. But of course, it's not just generic as one sentence. There's a lot of factoring coming in as well. So being as whether we are in the C-suite level, we are in managerial level, or students, right? How do we want to make sure that we are not left behind? Then we have to start program our thinking mindset is that, are we still relevant? If one day we are redundant, so if one day, why the one day is not now? Then we start thinking.
Yeah, I mean, are we future-proof enough?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to add to what Kelly's saying, right?
Please.
You talked about, is this for the tech people? Companies are democratizing skills, right?
Yes.
Making sure that these skills are available for all the roles. Now, women, after watching this program, a lot of them will want and go and tell their children, right? This is what you need to take. This is where the career. And I always ask, why don't you dream that for yourself? Right?
Instead of saying the next
you have
generation.
ambition for your kids, and I'm going like, you need to, successful kids come from successful parents.
Yeah.
Not just a parent.
Yeah.
Right? So women need to project that. And in order for you to get your children to embrace that, you need to show that you are also embracing it.
And that's such great advice from the both of you, because honestly, I think a lot of people, once they've left the workforce officially, especially women, somehow or rather the ambition or dreams or hobbies, we don't find time to recultivate that after leaving the workforce or having children or having to tend to them. And I think this is such an inspiring thing to say, hey, how can this help me?
And AI is perfect for women, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no biasness.
Yes.
Right? And you can work from anywhere.
Yes.
So, yes, embrace it.
It provides flexibility, especially women that is still in the career. We need a lot of flexibility for family, for other personal purposes.
Juggling
and
a lot, yeah.
This has given such a beautiful platform. And if we still think that it's not fair for us and we are not riding on the opportunity, I guess we are just not giving ourselves a chance.
You're reinforcing that old belief, as you said, So, I mean, do you want to be part of the change or not?
Yes. Women should always not ask, am I qualified for this? Right? It always, why not me?
Yeah.
Okay? Do not wait. We always feel they have to 100% be ready before we raise the hand.
This is true.
Whereas men do with 60%, they go in with conviction that I can get it done.
Agreed.
So I think it's important that one message need to get like, I too can do this. Why not me?
Thank you, Sharla. And Callie?
As for me, I guess by listening and by talking is the easiest way out. And now is the time to take action, it's the time to apply. So how? Then start actually Googling, start asking your surrounding. If you still are not a techie person, then you ask your friends. Ask someone that has done it before. Where should I start? Should I pick up a course? Should I actually go for some other tutorial?
We can even ask an AI assistant.
Yeah. And I have ChatGPT mobile number. Do you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah, so I chat with them, right?
Okay.
So that's life-changing.
Oh, we're going to talk more about this after the show. Yeah.
I mean, I know you said last words, right?
Yes.
But there's one thing that I think all of us do, right? Girls need role models and women need mentors.
Yes.
And I think that's what's important for us to come out and talk about it.
Yes.
Because monkey see, monkey do.
Yes.
Right? And it's important to have that.
Thank you so much for addressing that. I feel very strongly about that as well. Thank you so much, both of you, for being on the show. Thank you for reinforcing the message of adaptability, willingness to learn, and self-belief, if anything. And we look forward to continuing the discussion, perhaps even on Instagram.
That would be lovely.
So follow us on social media. That's at Women Talk TV3 or at TV3 Malaysia. And thank you for spending your time with us. With that, I'm Anita Woo. Until the next episode, take care.